Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the actor for Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito, saying that Moff Gideon might be Force sensitive. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee. So The Mandalorian Season 2 is on its way. We still haven't gotten any official trailer for Season 2 yet, but we have been getting some casting news over the last several months with Tamira Morrison, Rosario Dawson, etc. So we're Katie Sackhoff. We're getting all of these characters that are going to be a part of Season 2. So Moff Gideon is now going to be the big bad of The Mandalorian, which is no surprise. And Moff Gideon was first indirectly mentioned in The Mandalorian in Episode 3, but then we actually got to see him in 7 and 8, so the two-part finale of The Mandalorian Season 1. Moff Gideon is an officer who was in the Empire, who appears to be still working for the Empire in some capacity, who is an officer in the Imperial Security Bureau, which is a law enforcement and intelligence agency of the Empire. Moff Gideon rose through the ranks and became a marshal 9 years after the Battle of Yavin. He's risen to the position of Moff, and led a remnant of his own, which included forces that we saw in the show, such as Stormtroopers, Scout Troopers, Death Troopers, and Incinerator Troopers. So with this, Moff Gideon has also acquired the Dark Saber, which we know. So we got to see that at the end of The Mandalorian Season 1, which was essentially the big cliffhanger that we saw. And Giancarlo Esposito teased the potential in an interview with Entertainment Tonight about Moff Gideon being Force sensitive. And you know, my rule with Star Wars is if you can't come out and directly say no, that's not the case, but you continually tease it, it's probably true. So let's take a look at this clip from that Entertainment Tonight interview. Let's check it out.
There were a bunch of questions, and so which some of them got answered and many of them not, because he's still trying to find that out. So to be in the position of having that kind of regal, graceful power, but have this saber, which delineates a different part of me than any other character. Mm-hmm. To have this saber means I can use it, and I can do my own dirty work. That I'm a fighter, that I'm a warrior. That's part of me. Also creates the possibility of that he is, one of the ones. Like he possibly has that. And that to me is interesting.
So this is actually a pretty interesting clip because you can tell at the very end he's so close to saying Force sensitive and he has to stop himself and say one of those, obviously inferring to a Force sensitive individual. And he really hits his character head on. Gideon is a sophisticated, knowledgeable, he seeks to bring order. He's imposed, ruthless, willing to kill fellow, Imperials. He kills 2 guys on his own squad, according to 2 Scout Troopers in The Mandalorian, when he first gets to Navarro. So he has no issue laying down the law and going after what he wants. He's also clearly an adept tactician and good at psychological warfare, considering he was able to tell, Cara, Din Djarin, everybody who was in there with him, he was essentially able to give them a basic rundown of who they were and that he knows what's going on. So this is actually pretty interesting. So he essentially is just taunting them to destabilize them. So Moff Gideon clearly is trained somehow, whether he's just a really intelligent man or whether the fact that he's gotten some type of training, considering he has the Dark Saber. So you would think that if he has the Dark Saber, he had to either trick or kill whoever had it prior to him in order to get it, which would again infer that a typical way you're going to get somebody who has the Dark Saber is you're going to have to probably have some ability with the Force, or you're going to have some knowledge of it, knowing, not because remember, if you take a look at this time, remember we're 6 years after the battle, or we're 6 years after the original trilogy, so we're still after Return of the Jedi. But at the time, not everybody was, like Han says, not everybody still believed in the Force up until that point. So I assume the interest in that would have risen after the fall of the Empire, and clearly Moff Gideon seems to be one step ahead of the curve, so it wouldn't surprise me if he really, came to this revelation that he is Force sensitive, and then decided to go wield after the dark saber to protect himself in case the Empire did fall or another power did rise, that he would still have some type of power structure to append himself to. So that's just pretty interesting stuff. Obviously, I think most of us probably inferred that when we found out that he had the dark saber at the end of Season 1. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about Season 2 and Moff Gideon's potential of being Force sensitive, if that's going to actually be stated. Thank you guys for watching. May God bless you, and the Force be with you always. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it.
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.